Science is discovering all these lost civilizations and structures up in the mountains, and there are temples everywhere, and sophisticated sophisticated structures that they still can't explain how they were built. Means that there were some other people here, there were humans here, that they were advanced, and they had advanced technology. I don't know what type, but they could build this stuff that it's impossible to build even today. So I was watching a video the other night about this Indian guy that he goes to different temples, and he went to this temple. India's got a lot of temples, but I think he went to Indonesia, and there's temples everywhere there too. And he found a huge stone block next to this little temple. This is made 800 years ago, and guess what it has? It has a car, convertible car, with the driver in it. You can see the tires and the rims, and it's got lights, big headlights. And then in front of it, there's another figure. It's a little worn out, but you can make out a person holding something that looked like a gun. And then behind that other figure, there's another figure that I don't remember what it was exactly, but there's a lot of stuff. I mean, a car from 800 years ago, wow. And it's visible. This thing is visible. They carved it deep. It's not a little scratch. They carved it deep into the stone. So there was some technology, and there were some people here that they were advanced, and there's some things that scientists can't explain, archaeologists can't explain, like those depictions in one of the temples in Egypt. It shows a Black Hawk helicopter. It shows a boat. It shows looks like a submarine, and it shows like a plane, really narrow, or a B2. It looks like a B2. So there's some things. Those things are thousands of years. How did they come up with this stuff? So either they saw the future and they carved out what they saw, and things like that. Now there is this lady that I was just watching because I was bouncing around. It's too hot to do anything outside. It's almost 100 degrees, and it's cooling off now. But I saw this lady that she's like a medium, and I have met some people. Like when we used to live in Jersey, and there was this lady that me and my father and me, we went there with another friend of his, and she prepared coffee, and she gave everybody a cup, and she would read the cup, the drips on the coffee inside. So in other words, she would grab this coffee cup, and she would look at it, and she would start telling you stuff. Now, I know it's bullshit. Nobody can read coffee drippings. It's a prop. Because what it is, I'm talking.
Okay. News is not.
Okay. Thank you, babe. That's very good news. Okay, I had to interrupt because we got some good news that the spleen, they checked it out. They took it to a lab, checked it out, and it was no cancer. So Papa is good to go, no cancer. He's not in danger, and he's recouping. So that was very good news. Very good news. She was crying, poor thing. She loves that boy, you know. So where was I? Oh, this lady was reading the coffee, and he started telling the friend of my father. He says, "You have a responsible job, and you do it." They don't give you names or things, but they give you references, you know. And he said, He says, you've been married for a few years. And he didn't say anything. He was just listening. Okay. He says, and you also have a girlfriend. And she's blonde. That guy freaked out. He goes, no. Yeah, I'm married, but no, I don't have a girlfriend. So after the consultation, we were walking out. And the guy says, man, how the hell that lady knew? Who's that woman, you know? How did she knew I had a girlfriend? So I seen things that they are kind of proven. In Cuba, there's a tradition of these mediums that they can read. They can actually read the ashes on a cigar. So again, it's not that they can actually read the ashes, is that it's a prop. They receive messages from spirits and they just tell you things, and they're using the cigar or the coffee as a prop. That's the way I see it. But they tell you stuff that there's no way that they would know. One day I went to a spiritual guy, and he said it was recommended by a friend of mine, because I was going through a bad patch. I couldn't find a job. I was just stuck in 6 months and no work, and I'm going, what the hell, man? I've been trying and signing application, filling out application. I can't get a freaking job. What the hell's going on? So I went to this guy that a friend of mine recommended. And what they do, what this type of people they do, they have seashells, and they just shake them, and it's like shooting craps, and they throw it on the floor, and he starts telling you stuff. And again, the shells are props. And he started telling me stuff. He says, you're going to be in charge of a lot of people. You're going to be the not the boss, but you're going to be like a supervisor of a lot of people. And I said, okay. He says, you're going to open up a business. And at that time, I was thinking of opening up a small little sandwich shop with this friend that I just talked to yesterday. And we were looking at a location, and I'm thinking, how does he know this, And he says, you're thinking of opening up a business? And I said, okay. And he says, you have 2 aunts that they're twins. And I said, okay. And I said, I don't remember. I said, are you sure? But he goes, yeah. And again, they don't give you names. So, and then he says, and your girlfriend is having a problem menstruating. She goes weeks without her period. And I said, I don't know, So anyways, I say thank you. I paid whatever it was, $20. And I went home and I talked to my dad. I said, hey, do you have a couple of sisters that they're twins? And he goes, yeah. And I said, what do you mean? Who? And he gave me the names, so and so. And I'm going, I left when I was a kid. I don't remember. He says, they're twins. And one is named this, and one is, the nicknames. And I'm going, really? And okay, so that was a true thing, a true fact. Then I talked to this girl I was dating. And I said, let me ask you something, and don't be embarrassed, but I want to ask you this because somebody told me. And I said, I went to see this guy, and he told me that the girl I was seeing, which is you, because I haven't seen anybody else, is having problems with the period. And she goes, oh my God, who told you that? And I said, well, this guy. And believe me, they don't know each other, because this guy was up in the valley, and we're in South LA, Southeast LA, way on the other side of the county, far. There's no way they knew each other, and there's no way he would know something so private, so personal from this girl. And she confirmed it, and she goes, yeah, I've been having a problem, and I'm gonna go to the doctor. So then the only thing left was the business. And when it turned out that the business was that I bought an old flatbed truck, and I started hauling uh, freight from the harbor. And that lasted a couple of years. And then later, I was running my father's company as a supervisor. We had like 20, 30 guys. So everything he told me came true as time progressed. It didn't come all of a sudden, all in one shot. It just things. So everything he told me was true. So I do believe that some people have the ability to communicate or receive messages. It happens because he's like an open door, and the people from the other side, they can talk to him. So now let's get back to what I saw today. This lady was saying that she has the ability to communicate and receives messages from spirits. You know, I'm not saying that's a relative or something, but she meditates. She goes into this yoga pose and just meditates, and then something comes over her, and she starts receiving all of these messages. And this is what she said that applies to us now. Hang on a second. Okay, she said that in October there's going to be some sort of a financial problems. She didn't exactly call it a collapse, but there's going to be some financial problems. I don't know if it's a stock exchange or the NASDAQ or whatever, but there's going to be some tension in the country financially. Then she says in November, they told her that there was going to be the death of a leader. She didn't say who, but she said that she was told that he would die on the way to the hospital. Now, she doesn't know if this applies to Trump, that they try to kill him and they're going to try again, or none of that. But she did say that she was told there was a death of a leader. That when that happened, there was going to be social unrest. A lot of people, it says people are going to come out in hordes and there's going to be trouble. She also mentioned that there's going to be an explosion in Turkey, around eastern Turkey. There's going to be an explosion, and there's this gas coming out of the ground that's going to move towards Syria and towards, and she says that to protect yourself, don't get out of the house, because she was told to be safe, don't be outside, stay inside, windows and doors closed, and don't go outside and breathe directly. And I say, well, oxygen travels through everything. It's going to come into the house. But she says that it'll dissipate in a couple of days. The wind will break it up and push it off somewhere. But there's going to be some sort of a disaster over there. So it could be an explosion from a bomb, or it could be a volcano. It could be, Turkey has a lot of earthquakes. And from the ground, sometimes you get poisonous gas and things like that. Now, that kind of like, when I heard that, I said, there are some people on the internet, I don't know, they're conspiracy theorists or whatever, but they're talking about there's going to be something happening at the end of this year, something big, and they're saying get ready. I don't know. He says the media is not going to talk about it, but there's going to be things happening, and I don't know if they're trying to scare people, but the way the situation is, the down the middle factions of the country, that one side is completely conservative, the other side is completely liberal or Democrat, which they are liberal now. Democratic Party, they died a long time ago. And there's going to be some unrest, and that's probably what she's referring to, that people are going to start shooting each other, killing each other. That could be what she meant. But the thing with the gas and the thing with the death of a leader, that kind of has me worried. And she says that she just received these messages. She feels like something comes into her and starts, saying things. And like I said before, I seen examples of things that they were true, exposed by people that do receive messages, and they can tell you stuff. I also saw in person. I saw one time I was visiting a family, and there was a gentleman there that I didn't know who he was, and he came and he sat next to this lady, and we're in the living room talking, having coffee, and everybody had their own conversation. And he just turned to her and said, did it, and said a few things, and her eyes just went like this, like she heard something that it was true about her. Who knows what? But I wish I would have heard what it was, but it wasn't. It's supposed to be a personal thing, so they were sitting over there. But I noticed that she had a reaction when he said something, and then I found out that the guy is one of those medium guys, people that it so happens when I went to visit, he was supposed to go there and talk to them. So yeah, if this prediction or this prophecy from this lady comes true, there's going to be some rough times coming, and everybody has a different definition or a different story about what's going to happen. People are expecting riots. People are expecting civil unrest or civil war, or I don't know. I'm not saying that they're going to go against the government, but the tensions are high. People are being pushed around. More taxes and more taxes. People are getting fed up. And like I've said before, remember the French Revolution. People can take so much, and then they're going to blow up. So imagine a population of blowing up. So what I'm going to do, that thing about the gas, she said it was Turkey, but she made it sound like it's going to travel. It could be around the world. Who knows? If it's an atomic bomb, then the radiation is going to travel. But if it's going to dissipate in a few days, I don't know what that could be. But I've been wanting to get a good mask for the next epidemic, because it's coming. I mean, COVID is coming around again. I've heard of some people already passed away. We had a friend that he was in his 40s. He went to the hospital when COVID was around, and they put him with those tubes, those breathing tubes, and that killed him right there. He didn't survive. So the epidemic, the virus is still around. So we're gonna get a good mask. I think Home Depot sells good mask. I don't know if I go online and find something better to protect ourselves, because at the age that we're both in, anything could happen, that you can just die really easy, because the immune system is not as strong as you were, like when you were 20 or 30. So you gotta protect yourself. And as far as civil unrest, well, I got a few things to protect myself, but I really hope that it doesn't happen. That's the last thing we need, for people to go berserk. Even though there's already signs of that happening, there's a lot of people losing their minds. A couple of nights ago, somebody was gassing up at a station. Some dude came from behind, shot him right in the head, and walked away. I don't know if that was a hit, or I think they caught the guy. The guy didn't know the dude. He just felt like doing it. People are losing their minds, and that brings back that video that I saw a long time ago. I'm talking 8, maybe 10 years. That this guy from Central America, this was a Spanish video. He says that he had a vision or a dream, but the way he described it, it sounded like it was more like a vision, that he was in his yard in daytime. And Jesus Christ and two other beings showed up and told them that in the future, in the near future, things were going to start to happen and people were going to start losing their minds. In other words, they're going to start acting up weird, different, and doing things. And every time something like crazy like that happens, I remember that guy, because there's got to be something to that message. And he says, I just want to tell you this so you can tell your people to be careful and to take care of themselves. Don't know what to say. I mean, we are in way different times that when things were easy. You know, I'm talking 70s. There's always angry people for one reason or another, but you could walk down the street without getting assaulted. You could do things at night. You can walk at night and nothing would happen to you. You could do things, and now it's happening everywhere. Everywhere. You gotta analyze the times we're in compared to the times before, and just be careful and keep your eyes open. That's what I tell her when she goes shopping, and sometimes I go with her and I say, when you go to the store, make sure your purse is wrapped around your body, not just hanging off your shoulder, because they can just rip it off and take off running. And keep your eyes open. And if somebody is following you or whatever, you call me and I'll come and get you. So now this prediction, this lady that came up with all this, and she's giving dates. It's in October and November. All right, guys, I'm gonna sit here and water a little bit, and I'll see you on the next one. I hope everybody's well.